Um, Hi. If I'm being perfectly honest, I really don't like talking to a bunch of people in this all eyes on me kind of thing. But I guess it's too late to call in sick, huh? I should probably introduce myself. My name is Avery. I'm 16 years old and I live with my grandma and grandpa. Well, lived. Sort of. I was born to two people who you would call drug addicts. I don't call them mom or dad, because they were never that. They used to shoot up right in front of me on the couch. Seeing needles laying all around the floor was normal. So yeah, that was my life. Then by the time I was 8, if I wasn't helping one of them with, then they were teaching me how to do it on my own. It was their own twisted way of family bonding, I guess. So as you might imagine, I didn't stay with them for very much longer. I got placed with my grandparents. Life felt okay for a bit. Like when I was 9 years old, my grandpa took me fishing, and we spent all day in the sun by a lake, and I caught 3 fish. My grandpa actually hung out with me, which was not something that was normal for me. He showed me his old compass that his grandpa had given to him. It was a faded gold color and it had a lot of scratches, but he gave it to me that day. It was the first gift I'd ever been given. And even today, I keep it in my pocket. Anyways, I was placed under my grandparents' care, but what I didn't know was that I would also be living with my uncle, since he was there before I was. Some people say you can't pick your family, and I think that's fine, but it feels really awful to know that they didn't want to pick you either. Because if they did, they wouldn't treat you like shit. I never had a home. No. What I had was more like a prison. I was forced to go to sleep in my own personal prison and wake up in my own personal hell. If you can imagine, any day I would come home to be beat. Not by my grandparents, but by my uncle. My family. And not just on Mondays or Tuesdays or any set routine. No, it was on his schedule. When he felt like taking out some anger, he'd beat me. All over. I eventually stopped hiding the bruises so someone would notice, but no one ever said a single thing. It was like switch went off when he started. And after a while, you begin to lose feeling to it. You start to lose hope. You start to think that this is your purpose, to be a human punching bag. You start to lose yourself. You wake up and question who you are and what's the point of living. Do you know how painful that feels? And then when you finally speak up, no one believes you? It takes so much courage to just finally stand up and say something, and yet they call you crazy and blow you off. That's what my grandpa did when I finally told him. He didn't believe me, and I had no one else. So eventually I just started not coming back. You wouldn't either if you were in my shoes. I would find different places to sleep around town. Sometimes it was warm places, sometimes it was cold places. I would find certain benches where the sun would warm it all day long and give me some warmth as I fell asleep. I remember listening to cars drive by would make me feel a little less alone. One of the worst parts about having a prison for a home is that while you try so hard to avoid that place, people will try and help. But they help by putting you right back in it. And I know they mean well, and I know they're actually just trying to help me, but they just don't know. You just don't know. Everyone would tell me when I was walking through town to just go home, Avery, go home. Well, you try going to that home. You try and sit there day after day and not think about just ending it all. What home? That's not a home. Sorry. That's jumping ahead in my story. I should mention there were some upsides I found along the way. I learned that drugs and alcohol make the pain go away. That a couple shots are just as good as NyQuil and can help you fall asleep. When you have nothing else, those are the kinds of things that give you some real purpose in life. That's why I did drugs. It's the only thing that made me feel anything. I was so empty inside. Aside from that, I made quite a few friends at the skate park. I found a boyfriend that I thought really cared about me. He became my whole world, my family. I found some people at Youth Hope that definitely made me feel a little more normal. They did these classes where they teach you about life and stuff, so I'd go to them. Mostly because they'd give me a $5 gift card to McDonald's if I sat through the class, and I needed to eat. And I made some friends there. Nobody really knew, though. Well, okay, maybe a couple of my friends and my boyfriend, they knew how bad it was at home and how I'd sleep on the streets when things got bad. But nothing lasts forever, right? Well, one day things got bad. Like, really bad. My uncle freaking blew up. I think he drank too much. So I tried calling my boyfriend and he didn't answer. So I took off like I always do. I went to the skate park and he wasn't there either. I tried calling him again, except this time he answered. I unloaded everything to him and I was crying. And he broke up with me. In the middle of my crying, he shouted, "Shut up! I can't take this anymore. All you do is complain. I'm done." And just like that, it was over. My only family, my only person who cared, or at least I thought he cared, and my world started to spiral. I wandered the streets the rest of the night. Luckily, I had some drugs to take the pain away, but then I ran out. One of my friends saw me after school and said I looked like a zombie. I felt like one. No life in me. What's the point? So I went inside a coffee shop bathroom, locked myself in, and decided I was going to end it. End the pain. What I didn't know was that my friend went to Youth Hope that day for those classes and told one of the people there how I was acting. And just as I was laying on the floor of the bathroom, weeping, saying, "Screw it," I heard banging on the door. It was Youth Hope. It was Heidi. I finally let her in. She sat with me while I told her everything that had happened in the last 24 hours. She listened. And I cried. She told me all about how much she cared about me and that she wasn't going to let me do this alone. Soon my uncle was gone and I was put in rehab. It was probably the best thing that could have happened. I hated it at first, but I started feeling better. I started not to feel so lost. And after getting out of rehab, I made sure to go say hi to the people at the skate park. Youth Hope. And remember that compass my grandpa gave me? I had it in that bathroom. I never let go of it when I was thinking I was done. My hands were shaking, but I never let go. I guess Youth Hope kind of became that compass too. I didn't know how far gone I was, how lost I was until rehab. I knew I was numbing everything, but holy shit, it feels better to feel. It feels good to have hope, a family who has direction. Whoa, I can't believe I just used that word. Family. Youth Hope is my family.